Smackdown review for the February 7th episode of Smackdown. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling.
Before we get started, we would like to point out the releases that just happened as we're watching SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, best wishes to Blair Davenport, Cedric Alexander, AOP, Paul Ellering, and of course,
R.I.P. PFC, baby. R.I.P. PFC. Sonya Deville gets released as well. Yeah. People losing their jobs suck.
Yeah. And now we go into the top 5 moments for PFC. Zoe Stark, springboard missile drop kick. Zoe Stark, springboard missile drop kick.
What a run.
Yeah.
R.I.P. PFC. Anyway, SmackDown started just like Raw. We had Jey Uso starting the show. Of course, he was making his rounds because he has a pretty big decision to make. He's got to choose on who he wants to fight at that here WrestleMania. So his music goes, and of course, we get ourselves another encore. People are yeeting. People want to keep yeeting, so they keep yeeting. They encore it. But he says he's got a lot of love from the fans this week, and on Monday he spoke to Gunther, so it's only right to come face-to-face with Mr. Cody Rhodes. And when he says that, Cody, of course, comes out, and he's limping. A lot of injury rumors beforehand on the show. They mentioned vacating the title. Obviously, it's not happening. It's not that much of an injury. But he goes, so main event Jey Uso, I'm guessing I know what you want to talk about. And Jey goes, you know why I'm here, man. I could choose you. I could choose you, and I could stand across from you as your opponent at WrestleMania, or I could stand next to you the next night as the World Heavyweight Champion while you're the WWE Champion. And Cody says, you know what? I spoke to my doctor, and I have elbow issues. I have hip issues, back issues, but he didn't tell me the right thing. He should have said that my heart is really full because I love seeing you win the Royal Rumble. And we were like, yeah, that's good, Cody. Good job. And he goes, this is your choice at Mania, but just so you know, my story is not finished yet. I have to win at WrestleMania. So if you do choose me, then let's shake hands one more time because it'll be the last time before our Mania match. And they do shake hands. Obviously, he didn't choose anything. But at this time, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga come out. I'm like, what the hell they want?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were past this.
Yeah. I did too.
But Fatu and Tama Tonga come out, and Tama, he says this amazing promo. He cuts it and he goes, yeah. That's his promo. And then Fatu says, Cody, last year you took that title from my family, but now my family needs that title back. And then he looks at Jey Uso and he says, and Jey, I think he called him little cousin or something like
big
that.
Cousin.
Mr. Yeet Man, big cousin. If anybody's going to get that title back for our family, it sure as hell ain't gonna be you. And when he disrespects Jey like that, of course, all hell breaks loose in the ring. And they have, it looks like they have Cody. They're gonna beat him up pretty well. But Cody eventually does get the Cody cutter on Jacob Fatu. Jey Uso comes in, super kicks. They're able to scare off Fatu and Tama Tonga. We find out that the main event of the night will be Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso taking on Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. But I love this. Great opening segment. Do you think that Jey honestly is going to even consider Cody Rhodes as the guy he goes after for WrestleMania? Because I just don't see it.
Yeah, no, not at all. I do like the idea of him continuing to wait. So building up the drama and how long can we go until we get this. But yeah, I mean, the story just makes sense for him to choose Gunther. I did like Fatu, though, saying like, if anybody gets that back, if the family needs it back, the bloodline needs it back, it's not going to be you.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh, I like that. Obviously, Fatu has been a star in and of itself. Solo was continuing to build before Solo had went away, when he walked out. And then you look at it, and Fatu's got a qualifying match in the chamber. He's taking out people. I mean, you're like, oh, well, I mean, he has a point here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right. I don't think there's zero chance, in my opinion, that he's going to go after Cody for the title. But if Fatu would have come in and not ended up attacking Jey after he said the line of like, our family wants it back, and if he would have been like, our family wants that title back finally, and now we actually have someone in our family that has an opportunity to get that title back, I would have been like, ooh, my ears would have perked up and been like, okay, what storyline are we playing here? Things just changed. But the second Fatu was like, nah, you ain't going to be the one, I was like, oh, okay, so he is going to go after Gunther. And we'll continue whatever this Fatu stuff is and keep Fatu around Cody, but just not quite time yet. So it was fine by me.
Yeah, nothing really to write home about here. Pretty standard stuff. I am a little bit worried, I guess, about Cody potentially being injured. He he didn't move around he didn't move around well tonight. Match was obviously a little bit different. Bell rings, the adrenaline is going, but backstage stuff here, walking around, I'm like, oh God, okay. He is bruised and battered. So
yeah, I don't know if I know he's legit banged up, but I don't know if that's just him playing the role or what. But yeah. Anyway, we'd have our first Elimination Chamber qualifying match of the night. We'd have Bianca Belair taking on Piper Niven, and Bianca would go for the KOD right away, but Piper Niven's kind of hard to get up for the KOD, and that was sort of the story of this match. Whenever Bianca got an advantage, she would try to hit the KOD and try to hit the KOD and try to hit the KOD, but she just couldn't get her up. And Bianca came out with Naomi and Chelsea came out with Piper, but there really was no outside shenanigans. You saw Chelsea Green at times like hyping up Piper. You know, she was talking, trying to get her all hyped up like she was going to win. Yep. But there was no, that just is a setup for shenanigans to happen on the outside. Never really happened. But Piper did the most of the offense here. 80% of the offense went to Piper Niven during this match. But eventually Piper would go for kind of like a top rope maneuver of some sort, and Bianca would pop up real quick and end up using her being on the top rope to her advantage so that she could lean into the KOD with Piper, hits her with the KOD. Bianca Belair does win this match, and she becomes a qualifier for the Elimination Chamber match. This is good. This is good. I need Bianca in there. I want both Elimination Chambers to be as stacked as they can be. So Bianca winning this is the right decision. I'll pop it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. I think everybody kind of knew what would happen for this match. Everybody wants Bianca. It's nice to see Bianca again in singles action. We talk about how much we love that. She can continue to make everybody look good. Doesn't matter who she's in the ring with. The biggest, thing for me was at the end of the match, instead of Elimination Chamber, it just said no escape rule match on the bottom in the graphic. Yeah. And I said, what the hell is that? That was about the most suspense I had in this whole time, because you knew Bianca was gonna win this match.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think it was just like maybe the show is being shown in a territory where you can't say Elimination Chamber. I don't know, but
yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
Carmelo Hayes is backstage with Nick Aldis, and Adam Pearce called Nick Aldis to set up a match with a Raw superstar. And Melo's like, "Bring it on! Who do you got?" And Nick Aldis is like, "Well, you took out Tozawa before the Rumble match. You cost him a shot at a title, technically. So like, he wants a match. Makes sense to me." And Tozawa comes in, he does the Melo don't miss, but he says airball. Pretty funny. So we get that match later in the night. But before that, we have DIY in the ring. They're celebrating their successful title defense at the Royal Rumble against the Motor City Machine Guns. And they talk about how they beat Motor City Machine Guns twice at the Rumble because it was a best 2 out of 3 falls match. They're the best. That's what they were saying. They're the best tag team in the world. And Motor City Machine Guns will never hold these titles again. In fact, everybody in this arena should stand up and we should bow our heads and have a moment of silence for the Motor City Machine Guns title hopes. And when they were trying to get the crowd up, Pretty Deadly comes out. Yes, boys. And they say, do we need to remind you that the only reason you guys have those titles in the first spot is because we helped. We helped you this entire time. You guys won at the Rumble, but we helped you along the way. And, DIY was getting pissed because they were interrupting the moment of silence. And so they started to jabber back and forth when Nick Aldis came out and was basically like, DIY, I hate that you're trying to control the narrative about your title reign. Like, I'm the general manager. I get to set up the matches. So Pretty Deadly deserves a title shot, but they're going to have to earn it. And why not earn it by just beating you guys in a one-on-one match right now? So Nick Aldis sets up a DIY versus Pretty Deadly match on the spot. And I was like, dude, okay, this works. And if they beat DIY, guess what? They get a title shot, I'm guessing, at Royal Rumble.
No, Royal Rumble already happened.
Got Elimination Chamber or Royal Rumble 2026. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, Pretty Deadly and DIY would have a pretty short match. Very short match, honestly. Kit would start hot, and they would go back and forth with DIY. Eventually, DIY would do, they start cheating. That's what they do. One would distract the ref while while Ciampa was on the outside, and they would get the advantage that way. But very short match, not much offense from either guy here. But when they begin to cheat, Ciampa goes for a roll-up pin on Elton. And when he sits on the pin, he's near the rope and he uses the rope and he's trying to use that as leverage to get the cheap pin. But then Kit comes over and super kicks Ciampa, which gives Kit the moment to roll up Ciampa. And then he does the dirty pin with the rope. 1, 2, 3. Pretty Deadly gets the win here. We get a free Pretty Deadly DIY match and it's going to lead to another Pretty Deadly DIY match. no complaints from me, man. Pop.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. Yes, boys get a much deserved win
Yes,
here.
they do.
Nothing to write home about. I do like them using the cheating tactics to out cheat the cheaters. I like that. DIY is probably going to come back and say they weren't ready. They weren't even in their ring gear, something like that. Because Ciampa had jeans on and Gargano just had like a cutoff t-shirt, I guess. So weren't ready to fight at all. But there's a nice little appetizer. Obviously not the full-blown course, not what we're going to get down the line, but nice little appetizer here.
It got us what we wanted. The end goal here was to have Pretty Deadly and DIY be in a title match together, and we get it. So
yeah, and you can then you look at it in terms of just the results. Like I pull up the box score, you look at it. Well, they got to win over them.
Yeah, much
no matter
needed.
how you get there, as long as you win.
Much needed. We had Miz and Andrade talking backstage for a minute, and Miz was like kind of recruiting him or something. I don't really know what he was doing, but Miz was basically giving him the argument of like, you can learn a lot from me. And Andrade was like, I already have learned a lot from you. I've learned how to beat you. And he walked away. And I was like, oh, disrespecting the Miz. What the hell? But the Miz turns around and Cody Rhodes is there. And Miz is basically trying to make friends with everybody. He says, I got your back, Cody. And Cody goes, well, respectfully, I don't need your help. I'm good. Mm-hmm. And the Miz says, I'm a little bit worried about you and this title belt that you have because your whole title reign has been about this story, but it's Jay's story now. It's a Royal Rumble. He just won. And he goes, do you think that you can stay friends with Jey Uso if he decides to choose you? Because that title, I can assure you, destroys friendships. And if Jay chooses you, I don't think you guys will ever be friends again. And walks away, and Cody's contemplating this. Mm-hmm. So kind of clouds the night.
Yeah, Shinsuke's in the back of all of this, by the way.
Yeah, Shinsuke, once again, just is walking in the shadows.
He's just hanging out.
Hey, bro, how about you come up and defend that thing or something? I don't know.
I don't know. He's just hanging out. I will say, the one takeaway I did have, you made a good point during our live stream. You were like, oh, that's a damn good promo from The Miz. Like, it had good substance to it.
Yeah.
It was really nice to see. Kind of sucked to have it kind of tucked away randomly. It didn't feel like, but important notes there. Us being Miz fans, I was like, damn it, I want Cody Rhodes and Miz to be a tag team. Obviously never going to happen, but damn it. Yeah. Sounds cool.
To me, just
awesome.
It was so like out of like, I'm fine with this. Like, I have no complaints, but like, it was like, why the hell is the Miz talking to Cody Rhodes right now? Like, out of all the things happening, but whatever.
Yeah. He's trying to be, I guess, the carrying cross of SmackDown.
Yeah, I guess.
Basically.
Yeah.
You're not going to pop for the Wassum?
You're right. The Wassum?
Wassum.
Oh, the Wassum team. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's right. But
anyway, the pop of the night, one of the pops of the night for me was this promo that we got, because the next match was the Elimination Chamber qualifying match for Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, and Jimmy Uso. And instead of just throwing these three in the ring and giving us a great match, which we eventually got, they were like, screw it. Everybody's going to walk out with a mic and tell us how you feel. Turns out all three of these guys can go on a freaking mic, right? So Drew comes out and he says, screw Raw. I'm now on SmackDown. And he goes, at the Rumble after I lost, I tore everything up and I drove home. I was so full of rage. But he said, I woke up clear-headed with a clear mind. And I realized that, he said, I looked in the mirror and I said, my God, you're jacked and you're handsome.
Next to my hot wife.
And I was, everybody in the arena was like, well, good for you, Drew. That's true. Good for you.
Yeah. He did have his hair straightened again.
Yeah, he did.
I pointed out every time, straightened or blow dried or something. Yeah. It's always looking nice now.
So I looked around and he said, my life's pretty good. Why am I so angry? And what he did, he said he realized that Raw is just a toxic work environment. Everybody there is backstabbing. And if you tell the truth, they turn on you. So that kept up there. But he said he's back. He's coming for Cody Rhodes. He's here for the belt that was stolen from him. And how does he do that? He's going to go to the Elimination Chamber, right? And when he says that, Big Jim comes out. And you really realize here, damn, Big Jim can go on a mic.
Yeah.
I think
if you were to say Jay or Jim, who's better on the mic, people would probably say Jim. But like, it was really apparent here, like, Jim is really good on the mic. Yeah, very good on the mic. His in-ring at times may slack, but he's damn good on a mic. It would be great for a mid-card push. Hint, hint. Yeah, it would. Hint.
He goes, every week, you live in the past, Drew. You sound like an ex-girlfriend. And everybody laughs. He goes, you lost. You have to earn your spot here. And Drew says, you know what? Sure, normally I'd be angry. I'd be angry at you saying that, but I'm not. I'm a different man, Jimmy. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, you know what? I've been here for a decade. I still can't tell the two of you apart. And by the way, does it ever get to you that, you could have been as successful as your brother if you just would have said yeet first?
Yeah, I thought that was good.
It was so good.
It's like, and then, oh man. But then Jim didn't hold back either.
No, Jim came right back. He goes, you know what? I'm big bro. I can say no yeet. I can say yeet. No, at the end of the day, I'm going to win the Elimination Chamber and hit my ticket to WrestleMania. And if you keep talking about Jey, at least he already clocked his ticket in. Where's your ticket to Mania? Mm-hmm. And when he says that, LA Knight comes out.
Yeah.
By the way, this guy LA Knight knows how to cut a promo as well, right? Mm-hmm. So he comes out and he says, Jim, I don't want to talk about you. I don't love you. How about that? And then he kind of goes on this rant about how if you want to, basically, if you need to cry in life, go get some help. Like a very positive
about like mental health.
Mental health
really matters, which is it's very important. I do like that we're getting more awareness centered around it. Kind of seemed almost out of nowhere, but good for LA Knight. Good message here, and if anybody does need help,
but feel
free to reach out.
He goes, agreed. Yeah, I agree. He goes from a very good message to ripping down Drew McIntyre in like a second. So he does that, and then he goes, there's 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and Drew McIntyre crying like a baby. Yeah, we call him Drew. I heard a fan of the crowd call him Drew McIntyre. And he goes, basically, I'm going to win this match. Yeah, and we get right to it. But this promo, I'm going to give it a pop by itself. These 3 can go. It made me just want them. Honestly, it just made me want LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, and Drew McIntyre to like one of them get the U.S. title and just fight over it till Mania, because the 3 of them cutting promos on each other would be fantastic.
Yeah, I would say this is probably the second best promo of the night, but up until this point, best promo of the night. So definitely was like kind of a quote unquote, like, I don't want to say throwaway match because it's an Elimination Chamber qualifying, but you're like, man, these 3, like, yeah, we know Drew and Jey kind of like, we all know they have kind of links together, but it was really good just to get something quick here, something simple from each guy. They each said their piece. They all carried themselves well. Like, okay, now I'm really excited for this match.
Yeah, and LA Knight even took a shot at the dirt sheets. He was like, oh, wait, before I'm done, I got to get my lines in. And then he did
Got to get my stuff in.
Got to get my stuff in. LA Knight, yeah. Anyway, the match would start, and LA Knight and Big Jim would team on Drew McIntyre because Drew McIntyre, big boy, might as well do it. But eventually, after they do that, right, they got to turn on each other. That starts as well. This match had a bunch of big spots from absolutely everybody. LA Knight would go for like his LA Knight elbow. I don't know what he calls it.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Not his top rope one, the one that's in the ring. But Drew would pop up real quick and give him the Glasgow kiss, which I love that move, man. It's just a simple headbutt, but he makes it look painful as all hell. They'd all go outside of the ring, and LA Knight would take turns battering their heads off the newly reinforced announce table, the hits, all that good stuff.
Still doesn't move.
Yeah, still doesn't move. There was a spot where Jimmy was at the top rope, and Jimmy had Drew tied in the ropes on the turnbuckle, his leg. So Drew's head was almost touching the ground, and Jim was on the top rope, and LA Knight jumped over Drew onto the top turnbuckle to go for a superplex on Jimmy Uso, but Drew would do a crunch from the middle rope and then end up German suplexing LA Knight off the top rope, which
German superplex.
A German superplex while LA Knight was superplexing.
Yeah.
I mean, damn good stuff
and
here.
Props to LA Knight. You know, we always give him shit kind of because he hits that move like 30% of the time. He landed it perfect. Because if not, that could have been really, what do you do?
That would have been bad.
He
would have landed right on Drew's head.
Yeah, exactly. So props to LA for that.
LA would eventually hit his top rope elbow drop onto Drew McIntyre, and then there would be some fighting, and Drew would pop right back up, spine buster LA Knight. Jimmy would end up super kicking Drew to get him out of the ring, and Jimmy would do a top rope splash to LA Knight, but Drew would pull the ref out of the ring mid count. 1, 2, no, you're mine now. So when that happens, they start scuffling again, and Drew kind of gets thrown out of the ring again. And while LA Knight is going for a BFT, Drew McIntyre sprints back into the ring and does a Claymore kick to the back of LA Knight's head while he's doing the BFT onto Jimmy Uso. Drew McIntyre pins LA Knight here. He qualifies for Elimination Chamber. This match was ridiculously good, popping all of it.
Yeah, match of the night.
Yeah.
I thought this match was a lot of fun. Everybody got their stuff in. I've been on record saying I don't like triple threat matches. I continue to kind of keep saying that, but every time Drew McIntyre's in a triple threat match, fantastic.
Yeah.
Every time. It's wild. Right guy gets the win here for Chamber. We were a little bit worried about, well, Drew and LA kind of had some issues. Maybe somehow, some way, one of them cost that. Maybe they go off and do something. But right guy gets the win here, continuing to stack that Elimination Chamber field, making it the strongest one yet, hopefully. I mean, you already look at the 3. You got Punk, Cena, Drew. I mean, yeah, I mean,
that's 2K.
Yeah,
That's 2K level nonsense.
That's like, no, we're gonna randomize because we got this guy. I don't want this guy.
Yeah.
So we got X-Pac. No, let's randomize again.
Yeah.
Not fighting X-Pac. No offense, X-Pac.
We do find out right after this that Damian Priest has a match next week for his qualifier. His qualifier is Damian Priest versus Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. Get ready for that. That's going to be incredible. But he does allude to the idea of him wanting to be the one to eliminate Drew, right? He wants to eliminate Drew from the Elimination Chamber, just like how he eliminated Drew from the Royal Rumble. So that begs the question. It is looking like Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre is the way WWE is leaning for a WrestleMania match. Do you like that idea after the year that both of them have, or do you think that they both deserve a little bit better almost?
Yeah, I would say, oh man. I mean, I think Drew McIntyre deserves, I would say, better. I think Drew McIntyre deserves more of a high profile match.
Yeah.
The rumors originally were Drew versus Roman potentially, or at least maybe that's the way they were kind of looking. Now it looks like we might get Roman versus Punk versus Rollins, which is great. That's awesome. That's fantastic. But I was really excited to see Drew versus Roman, and I probably admittedly got my hopes up. In terms of Damian, he's kind of been like, since he lost that title, he's kind of been in the main event scene, but kind of but also like kind of limbo. What do you do? So you get him to transition to SmackDown here, transfer over there, and you look at it and it's like, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll sign up for it in terms of what's there, but also kind of feels like after the great title reign he had last year, maybe he deserves something a little bit better, but some of the shines may be off of him. He's not in the same spot that he was at that point.
Yeah, I'm under I like this match just on paper. I like Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. They both are ridiculous talents. They both have been booked ridiculously strong over the past year. It's going to be a great match, but it just feels like Damian had a majority of the previous year, or not a majority, but a good chunk of the previous year being a champion, being a world champion. And I know that the WrestleMania card is so convoluted right now, and it's so up in the air, and who knows? And Drew still might get that title shot, but it feels like the work Drew McIntyre put in this year really deserves a championship level feud for WrestleMania. And I know that the card is so stacked and it's hard to do, but when you see Damian Drew, you can't help but to look at it and be like, really thought Drew would be doing a little bit bigger things here than that. But yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two guys you would look at and say that maybe they deserve a little bit more. I would say Kevin Owens and I would say Drew.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think Kevin Owens versus Sammy, that's the route we're going to go there. That's going to be good. I like that, but at the same time, I think Kevin should be in a title match. I think Drew should be in a title match. Well, fortunately, there's only 2 titles to go around, so we kind of talked about it originally when everybody was coming back and returning. Like, some people are going to miss out on some stuff, and looks like we're kind of really just looking to see what that's going to be like.
Speaking of Kevin Owens, he had one of his classic car promos where he's sitting in the front seat with his iPhone or something. I don't know. He's I don't know, a selfie cam, but he said he's addressing Sami Zayn. He said, we've been through a lot. I guess take a step back, because on Monday night, if you didn't see, Kevin Owens showed up and package power drive Sami into the dirt. Turned on his best friend like he always does, but this time in a more brutal fashion, right?
Yeah.
And he says,
Sami got stretchered off.
Sami got stretchered off and everything. So he said, we've been through a lot, but nothing like on Saturday, the Royal Rumble. He says, I am hurt forever. He was pointing out everything. He said, these scars won't go away, and it's all your fault. You stood and watched while Cody tried to end my career. No, he tried to end my life. You did nothing. Then in the Rumble, you went and you helped Roman Reigns when he was getting attacked. Love how he pointed that out.
Yeah.
He said, you are a horrible friend, a disgusting human, and I will never forgive you, but I will make you pay. Yeah. So Kevin Owens has made it very clear he is never forgiving Sami. He can't believe that he stood by and watched Cody almost kill him, and then he went and helped Roman Reigns. He's going to make him pay for this. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn is back on the WWE platter, and I can't wait.
Yeah, back on the platter for sure. I guess earlier when I said that triple threat was the best promo or second best, move the triple threat down to 3 if we're doing a power ranking, because I think this was the best of the night. This was the best promo I think Kevin has done in those car series that he does. You got a lot of emotion, a lot of sadness, a lot of Kevin not even being able to speak because of what he had to do to Sami because of Sami's actions, and how hurt Kevin is because of Sami's actions. And the thing is Kevin's completely justified.
Yep.
Like everything that Kevin is doing, you're like, yeah, you know what, Kevin? I see it. I get it. I understand it. Like, yeah, I'd be really upset too if my friend didn't help me out. Like if I had my best friend, like if we were doing something and I got in a fight and I said, Will, come back me up. And you said, no, I'm okay. I'm gonna help that guy.
Yeah.
I'd say, oh, what the hell? What the hell is this? I would be upset. So I get it. You know, I understand it. So top-notch stuff from Kevin again. He deserves the time off because obviously he is battered and bruised and cut up, but top-tier stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is so great. And when are we just going to be able to sit here and like legitimately say like KO is just right? Like, of course he shouldn't be package power driving people like that. That might be a bit too far, but I mean, yeah, like you said, it's like your best friend, your best buddy is there watching you get Alabama slammed through ladders and stuff. And you're standing right there. Like, and it was legal for him to get involved in that match. You would think that eventually your best friend would step up to the plate and help you, even if the other guy is also his friend. You know, that's the best friend thing. That's your responsibility as a best friend. And then, of course, he went and helped Roman Reigns, which is just like icing on the cake for the entire story. Glad that they did that. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn has, you know, years of backing. I'm so down with this already. They can both take time off and come back 2 weeks before Mania. It'll still be enough for me to be over for it. I just can't wait.
Yeah, and it's nice to Kevin's credit, like somebody finally acknowledged Sami Zayn coming in and into the Rumble and doing what he did.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody acknowledged it.
Right.
And Kevin's like, hello.
You did it. What the hell? Yeah.
Well, then nobody acknowledged it. So Kevin is right once again.
Yeah, always. Tozawa versus Mello is now happening. And Tozawa, we were all on our live stream, by the way. If you want to come watch our live stream, we live stream SmackDown, Raw, PLEs, all that stuff right here on YouTube. We were all like, this is going to be a 60-second match, a gimmick match. It was not. It got commercial breaks. It got everything. It was Tozawa beating the hell out of Carmelo Hayes. Beating him. I mean, Carmelo Hayes is getting worked this entire match.
Tozawa got a lot of offense in for somebody that hasn't gotten a lot of offense in over the past year.
I mean, top rope Hurricane Ranas, suicide cross bodies over the top rope. He was doing absolutely everything. Big old DDTs, top rope power bomb he even did on him. Like, what the Tozawa? Let's go.
I mean, Tozawa, if you look at some of Tozawa's older stuff, like Tozawa's got a deep bag.
No, agree.
He just never gets to show it.
Right. And then all of a sudden, Carmelo was able to get the advantage by doing the exact same, like, you know, clothesline to the back of Tozawa's neck, just like he did at Royal Rumble. And then he hit the...
Then he did that springboard DDT.
The springboard DDT.
That was dope.
The leaping DDT. And then he hit the nothing but net, and then Melo won. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, Tozawa looks good here. Carmelo Hayes' stock, in my opinion, just continues to plummet. So I'm going to drop this. I didn't need this. I'm dropping it.
Damn it. I thought I was going to be by myself on this one.
No.
I'm dropping it. And it's not because Carmelo gets the win here. It's because Carmelo Hayes should be doing more important stuff.
Bingo.
Carmelo Hayes, especially since they started the transfer portal, I would say. Transfer window, whatever you want to call it. Braun Strowman comes out, squashes Carmelo. Carmelo and Andrade have a great best-of-7 series. Nothing happens because of that. He attacks Tozawa at Rumble. Okay, whatever. Well, Tozawa did not need to go 10 minutes, 2 commercial breaks or whatever it was with Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
They just didn't have to do that.
This felt
Melo
like
should have just squashed him
yeah.
and moved on. Melo deserves better. I don't know what that looks like, but we talk about people continuing to miss out. Mania only has so many matches. It makes you really wonder. Melo's got to, I mean, they got to do something better for him. They got to move him to Monday or something. I mean,
yeah, Melo's missing. It's that simple. I mean, they had Braun Strowman walk all over him. I read this was his first singles victory since September. That doesn't make any sense. In my opinion, I think that Melo is one of the guys on the main roster right now that is just sort of not being booked like he should. That's how I'll put it. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of crazy when you sit and look at it. I mean, him, Braun Breaker, and Dragunov were all kind of those 3 that kind of came up together. And Braun was getting the big push, obviously. Dragunov was getting a pretty good push before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool, let's see what Melo can do. And they've just dropped the ball.
Well,
they've double dribbled. They've traveled. They've bricked. Whatever basketball term you want to use, they've done that.
Well, they didn't at first. They gave us a phenomenal 7-game series with him and Andrade, and we're like, well, this is destined to lead him to a U.S. title picture or something, right? Like, he's the next U.S. title. Him and Braun are going to be
He's bringing back the spinner U.S.
Yeah,
title.
here we go. Braun dog walks him, and then, oh, no. Okay, well, now we're here. Okay.
Tragic.
Oh, man. Charlotte Flair. She was on Raw this week talking to Miss Rhea Ripley. She went to NXT to talk to Julia. And now she's here on SmackDown to talk to Tiffany. But the talk of the week surrounding Charlotte is the reactions from the crowd that she's been getting and how WWE probably didn't plan for the boos. So she acknowledges that right away. She walks out and she goes, so what's it going to be tonight, Memphis? She says, do you love me? Do you hate me? When you boo, guess what happens to me? I make money. I was like, damn, that's good. She goes, I live rent-free in everybody's mind. I'm a wrestling obsession. You're obsessed with every part of me, how I dress, how I look, how I act, what I do. You're obsessed with Charlotte Flair. And it's because I'm a 2-time Royal Rumble winner now. I went to Raw, I went to NXT, so Tiffany, come inspire me. And Tiffany comes out, and the entire time, something to note, while Tiffany is walking all the way to the ring, and she's cutting a promo by this point, which I'll go over, but Charlotte never looks at her. Charlotte is looking directly into the crowd. She's standing in the center of the ring and just is stonewalled to the crowd. Just not even acknowledging Tiffany Stratton. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a cool little thing that Charlotte was doing. But Tiffany goes, congrats and welcome back. No one was a bigger fan of you than me, and when you got injured, people really cared. For a day. And she goes, WWE is much bigger and better now because of stars like me. And Charlotte says, what are you doing? You can only speak when I tell you to speak. And she's kind of trying to big bro Tiffany, as she did Rhea earlier this week, and she goes, you know what you can do if you want me to challenge you at WrestleMania? You can get in line. And Tiffany says, I've always been called the Charlotte wannabe, so you know what? Pick me. I will no longer be that. I will be the one and only Tiffany Stratton. And Charlotte goes, you know what? When I spoke to Rhea on Monday, she acted like a kid. You're just a child begging for me to make you a star. So if you want me to choose you, how about you get on your knees and you beg me to fight you? And before Tiffany can respond to that absurd comment, Nia Jax comes out and reveals that Nick Aldis has given her a title shot. Yeah. She is finally getting the title shot that she probably should have had months ago before she did all the Rhea stuff. Because obviously Tiffany stole the title with the Money in the Bank, and rematch clause sometimes is a thing in the WWE. Yep. So Nia basically says to Charlotte that if you want to pick the SmackDown champion, just get ready because it's going to be me, not Tiffany. And that perked Charlotte's ears up, and she basically said, well, I can't wait to watch. You have basically interested me. So I'll be next week. Yeah, next week on SmackDown, we'll be getting that match. Charlotte Flair came to SmackDown. She decided to big bro Tiffany Stratton. She was basically telling Tiffany that she's a child and she needs to beg if she wants Charlotte to choose her. And I freaking loved it. I'm popping it.
Yeah, this is your type of promo. I can tell from Charlotte. As soon as Charlotte started talking, I said, he's going to love this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I did not. I'm dropping this. I'm going to give it a chance. I was a big fan of hoping this is the match we get here. The main takeaway that I have from this promo between Charlotte and Tiffany tonight was Charlotte is obviously leaps and bounds ahead of Tiffany. Tiffany's stuff is obviously a little bit more rehearsed. The chemistry there, or like the feel between both of them tonight, I didn't feel it. It just wasn't coming to the screen tonight to me. So I'm hoping that changes. I'm dropping it for tonight, but I am going to hopefully give it, some more time, and maybe they can kind of continue to build, continue to grow that stuff. Maybe we get some stuff out of the Nia stuff next week that maybe helps build and grow it. But I was not a fan tonight.
I loved it because I think that I thought this was a promo that proved that Charlotte is standing in that ring and she is testing Tiffany for real and professionally. Like, you could tell that Charlotte is going to be digging at Tiff and seeing what she can get from her from a mic. And it definitely feels like Tiffany is just kind of reading paragraph by paragraph, which has been a critique of hers by her fans for a long time, right? It's phenomenal in the ring, but when she gets a mic, it feels like it's rehearsed and not natural. Well, Charlotte Flair gonna push you to the limit. Charlotte Flair is John Cena-esque in that, right? Of like the suffer and succotash and stuff like that Cena made Roman do early in his career. Like, this is that moment to me for Tiffany. It's Charlotte getting in the ring and being like, no, I'm not even gonna look at you. I'm not gonna acknowledge you. Like, it's in character, but it's also, for me, it feels like real and professional. Like, this is the testing moment for Tiff. And that's why I love it. It's like, come on, Tiff, step up to the plate. Let's get it done.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I get what you mean. And I understand that, and I understand all of what you're saying. My worry is there's a reason that they haven't done that with Tiffany. There's a reason they have not given Tiffany the chance to just, hey, you go out there, you touch these main points, and you just go. You just say what you want, kind of, but touch on these things. Just go. I don't think Tiffany can do it. And that's the part that worries me. That's the part that I'm like, okay, I know Rhea can with Charlotte. I know Bianca can with Charlotte. You could say Becky. You could even say Bayley. Hell, even Nia tonight I thought was pretty decent. The Tiffany part scares me. And that's the part that I'm like dropping it, because I'm like, okay, can we just not necessarily like reevaluate the match, because I think that's still going to be the match that happens, but I think there needs to be some sort of tweak, or Tiffany's stock is going to drop, I think. Because I don't think she's going to be able to do it.
Oh, well, that's hey, you want to be the next Charlotte. You want to be.
She doesn't want to be the next Charlotte. Did she listen to the promo? She wants to be the Tiffany Stratton.
Well, she wants.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but Tiffany Stratton probably wants to be better than Charlotte Flair, and if you want to be better than Charlotte Flair, you're gonna have to beat her on the mic. Yeah. Just like her daddy said, in order to be the man, you got to beat the man.
I mean, what's Becky Lynch got to do with this?
No, nothing. I have no idea. Oh, Becky, get the man. Okay.
Boom.
Alexa Bliss makes her big in-ring return against Candice LeRae, Elimination Chamber
right
qualifier.
As everybody's in the ring.
Right, yeah. She walks in while everybody's still in the ring, and I'm like, we were like, is she going to cut a promo? What's she going to do here? No, just to the match. Candice destroys her for 90% of this match. It was some weird booking here. I get it. Candice has been booked a little soft over the past few months, kind of like a rag doll with the Nia stuff. She's kind of just like the person that gets pinned in all those circumstances. So I get wanting to make her look good, but here against Alexa was a weird choice in my opinion, because she literally got 80% of the offense against a returning Alexa Bliss that everybody was so hyped to see, and I bet 99% of us wanted to just see Alexa get all of her moves off. Big return, big yes. But
well, at least they had this match in front of a great crowd.
Yeah, the crowd was dead. Memphis did not show up for this one. Eventually, Alexa would Hulk up, or when I say Hulk up, she'd psycho out. And we've been asking what her character is going to look like. It looks like she is going to remain in the Wyatt 6 character, or the whatever she was with The Fiend, because during her Hulk up moment where she has her big comeback, the screen starts to flash and do all the Wyatt 6 nonsense, the fuzzy screen and all of that stuff. But Alexa would basically get all of her shoulder tackles in, or drop kicks. She'd do a rolling neck breaker, all that good stuff. But she would eventually hit a Sister Abigail DDT. So it's like the Sister Abigail, except she wraps her hand around their neck the other way and DDTs them. Gets the win here. But yeah, I mean, Alexa Bliss gets the win. She's in the Elimination Chamber qualifier match, but I am actually going to give this a drop. Like, I thought this was way too much Candice LeRae. If you wanted to prove a point that she's tough, do it some other way. This was Alexa's big comeback. I just wanted to see that. I'm dropping it.
Yeah, I'm dropping this for multiple reasons. You know what? I'm going to give this the first ever double drop.
Oh, double drop.
I'm going to do that. I'm double dropping the match.
Ooh.
Because the match, like you said, Candice LeRae does not need to get that much offense in. I get Alexa Bliss hasn't wrestled in 2 years. I get she has maybe some ring rust. I get maybe the card. I get all of that. I understand it. But everybody wants to see Alexa Bliss. The main thing out of the Women's Royal Rumble was Alexa Bliss return.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see.
Right.
That's what people wanted. That's what people are like, oh, she came out at 21. She should have came out at 30. She should have won at that. Like, the main takeaway was Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
She's back.
Yeah.
Bliss is back, baby. Didn't really capitalize on that tonight. I'm giving it the second drop because of the Wyatt stuff.
Yeah.
With the whole Howdy Wyatt 6 thing.
I was going to ask you that. So
yeah.
It looks like Alexa Bliss, while she qualified for Elimination Chamber, it looks like the character arc, or it looks like Alexa Bliss's character that we all were discussing. What's she going to be? Is she going to come back as a goddess? Is she going to come back in the Wyatt stuff? It looks like they are choosing the Wyatt 6 character for her. She will be returning to that realm. Is that okay? Do you like that, or would you have liked her to return as a goddess?
Yeah, I would have liked the goddess,
Yeah.
which with the goddess especially, it's weird because it has her entrance music of like the goddess. So she's in this weird limbo spot of like 50-50, but tonight shows more so Wyatt stuff. I would have just liked her to come back as the goddess. I know her being on SmackDown with the Wyatts, there is that tie that maybe you can never really eliminate. Like maybe that tie never goes away. Everybody kind of knows that it's there, but doesn't acknowledge it, sort of thing. But Wyatts haven't done anything on TV for months. Even when they did, it was like, why should I care? They really fumbled the bag, WWE did, in terms of the Wyatt stuff. Alexa being kind of tied down to that is what I would say. I don't think Alexa can save this, is what some people might say. They might say, oh, Alexa can be tied to this, bring them back up and elevate them. I don't think she can.
Yeah.
I think that Alexa would have just been better on her own. Alexa would have been better to come back. You could pick Raw, you could pick SmackDown. She should be in like the main title scene. I'm afraid that we won't get that. Obviously, it's very early. It's the first match for her tonight. But I am worried with her being around that Wyatt stuff that we're not going to get that. We're not going to take her seriously.
Right. It's one match in, and it's a lot to, like I said, it's one match in, and you never know, right? She could be a 50-50 hybrid where she is the goddess and she is the Wyatt 6 member, and we get this cool new thing. But my fear is that if they do fully center to the Wyatt 6 and Wyatt 6 continues on the path that they are on, and Alexa can't be the jolt of life that they want her to be to that group, then what the hell do you do, right? So say you send Alexa Bliss back to the Wyatt 6 for a month or two, and they just still can't get out of this abyss that they're in. Do you write Alexa Bliss off for another 2 months again, and then you bring her back as a goddess? Like, that just seems like a sticky situation. Alexa should have just come back as a goddess, immediately been inserted into the title scene again after WrestleMania if you wanted to. Just establish her as a top threat again, because goddess Alexa Bliss is phenomenal in the ring, phenomenal on the mic, and those are two things you desperately need in this division right now just to elevate these young talents. Should have just brought her back as goddess.
Yeah, she could have been in anything. She could have been in like a mid card. She could have been in a main title.
Yeah.
She could have been a combination that kind of flowed her back and forth.
Yep.
Anything would have worked. Just afraid that nobody's really going to care.
Agreed. Street Profits are pissed. They're very mad, and they're coming for the tag titles, and so are Motor City Machine Guns, so are Los Garzas. We have a tag team, just a big bowl of tag teams in the SmackDown tag team division that are all wanting the title shot. So not much here tonight, except for Garzas and Motor City Machine Guns are going to fight next week, but we'll look forward to more of that stuff come next week.
Yeah, I do think, I know we want to move on quickly. I think that was second best promo. KO's was obviously the best. This Street Profits,
Very serious.
the darker, more intense side of Street Profits. Sign me up for that.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was very good the way that they did that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. They're going to have a new attitude. I don't know if they'll get a new theme. I probably assume new colors, new theme sort of thing, kind of a darker,
all black.
Yeah, more intense.
Yeah.
So yeah, sign me up for that.
I'm just going to go ahead and pop that. I'm a huge Montez Ford guy and love the Street Profits. More of them.
Yep.
We would get our Jey and Cody versus Fatu and Tama Tonga match to end the night. And rumors of Cody being injured. Well, he may be injured, but dude was bumping. Bumped like crazy. The beginning of this match, the first third of this match was just Cody taking bumps from Fatu and Tama Tonga, and they were taking turns on it until Cody got the hot tag on Jey. Jey would come in, do all his fun stuff, but eventually Fatu would get involved there, right? And so they get to work on Jey as well. But Cody would eventually get a hot tag. He'd do his disaster kicks, his super Cody cutter, but Fatu would kick out at one. Fatu pretty strong. They're making this guy look pretty good. Fatu would eventually push Cody off the top turnbuckle during a move, and Tama Tonga would do his big old DDT that he does. Fatu would go for a move, but Jey would pull him out of the ring. So he was like running the ropes, charging something up to hit Cody with, but Jey would pull him out of the ring on it, and Jey would finish him off with a suicide dive, and then Cody Rhodes would pick up Tama Tonga, crossroads him in the match. Jey and Cody get the win. Pretty quick match here. Not much to write home about. But after the Cody and Jey win, Solo Sikoa returns from out of nowhere and spikes Cody Rhodes as the SmackDown ends as we go off air. What in the world does this mean going into Elimination Chamber, going into WrestleMania? Solo is back.
Yeah, Solo's back, and that's awesome to see. Definitely didn't expect that. I thought it would have been a lot longer.
Yeah.
To be honest, I kind of thought, who knows when he's coming back. The match itself was okay. Yeah, fine, whatever. That's not the main thing here. I don't know, because it really makes me think. Fatu says somebody in the family needs to get that title off of you. He's got a match to maybe qualify for Chamber to maybe go after Cody, but then Solo makes it apparent, hey, I'm not done with Cody Rhodes. As much as we get tired about the bloodline stuff around Cody Rhodes, I think it's important that Solo wants that title. Fatu made a claim tonight. He also wants that title. Somebody's got to do it. It's not going to be Jey, so it's going to be me. I think we're on a collision course here. Solo versus Fatu. I think this is the beginning of it. This is how you get it started. That is your Mania match.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that Fatu does have the Elimination Chamber qualifier, and that match is obviously a match to earn the title shot. Solo wants that belt. Solo is still the tribal chief, right, to Fatu, at least in terms of Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Solo Sikoa. Why wouldn't Solo step in next week and try to take that match or do something? If Fatu wins it, why wouldn't Solo have been like, oh, you won that match for me? Cool. I'm going to go in the Elimination Chamber now. That's going to come to a headbutt. We're going to get it. And I really think that we are going to start leaning into Solo versus Fatu come Mania time, which that match to me will be my personal match of the night in terms of what I'm looking forward to. I just think that that's a year's worth of work from two guys who one wasn't even in the WWE. So I can't wait for that to pay off, and hopefully that's the route they go. But Solo being back is always a good thing because obviously we love you, Solo.
Yeah, interesting developments for Solo to start the new year at least. He was up there on some people's list for MVP last year, so he was definitely most improved. So you look at it and you're like, well, damn, Solo's gone. Now you get, the shooting star of Jacob Fatu versus the rising phoenix of Solo Sikoa. I don't know.
Rising Phoenix of Solo.
They're going to be on a collision course.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah. And importantly, I think to note, with them going at each other, they're going to be away from Cody.
Yeah.
And that's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Hopefully.
There may be another bloodline member that comes out and
he did spike him, so we're gonna have some Cody nonsense in there in the
right
meantime.
in the meat.
He's gonna be Oreo'd.
but down the line, yeah.
Anyway, 17 pops to 6 drops. I thought this was a great episode of SmackDown. The lulls were very little, so pop in this episode of SmackDown. But follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at Spotify, Apple, YouTube, etc. And of course, if you want to come watch this stuff with us, we live stream SmackDown, Raw, and PLE. So be there, please. And we got a link tree in our bio. It's got all of our links. You guys know it. Go follow all of it. Comment on our stuff. We love seeing you guys there. And then, of course, let's cheer for that back-to-back championship this weekend, baby. Chiefs got it. Come on, Chiefs by 3. Chiefs by 3. Bet it. It's on me.
Chiefs by 3, 1 for each title.
Exactly. 1, 2, 3, baby. Patty Mahomes. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.